We have a wonderful service planned for you, and we're going to be kicking that off in just a moment. Yes, 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 indeed. So thank you. All right, we are at the top of the hour now, so we are going to start off with a prayer, a powerful prayer. We have Janelle here. She's in our prayer practitioner training, and she is a powerful pillar of support in our prayer ministry at the Power of Love Ministry. So, Janelle, will you please kick us off?
Thank you. So I welcome you to join me in placing your hand on your heart. And we'll close our eyes. And we'll take a deep breath to settle into this service. Grateful and thankful to partner up with our higher Holy Spirit self. Grateful and thankful to remember that connection is omnipresent, omnipotent. We are grateful and thankful to come together today. Grateful and thankful for the healing that we are now available to. Grateful and thankful for the message that Rosalyn brings today, knowing that she is blessed and she is sharing her blessings with us multifold. So grateful and so thankful for our musical guest, Fanny Starchild, and the music that she brings today, knowing that the music that she brings lifts us up, tunes us into our heart, and tunes us into the one song in all of our hearts. We're so grateful and so thankful for Jennifer's vision and her presence and her continuous willingness to be there with us as we all rise up together. We are offering up and placing on the altar anything before this service, anything to come after this service, and any resistance to being fully realized in this service now. We declare our willingness to be fully receptive, open, and available to the healing that is here for us today. And we are saying yes to this miracle. We share the benefits of our healing today and our time together and the relationship that we're all developing with one another, with everyone, because we are one. We let this be in the grace of God, and so it is. Amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Janelle. That was beautiful. Yes, we're joining in that one song together, the one song that we're singing in the one life, one power, one presence. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. It is my joy to introduce Fanny Starchild. I am so glad she's here today. Very excited to hear her music. And on this auspicious day, Fanny is known as the Mystique with the Global Peace Tribe. She creates music that is alive with a spirit unto itself, reaching into your depths and guiding you home to your soul. The evocative sound of the mystic harp is an entity reaching into the deeper aspects of being. Starchild takes you on a timeless journey through truth, love, light, majesty, and healing, guiding you home into the domain of spirit. She's an original, colorful, totally improvised explosion of creative expression to engage and entertain children of all ages. And we are grateful to have you with us today.
Thank you so very much. What a special day. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so. My soul is tickling. So this song is called Beautiful, Beautiful, Beautiful Butterfly. It's springtime, so remember who we truly are. We are beautiful, so beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful butterfly, spread your wings and fly. So gently in the wind as you fly, you disappear in the blueness of the sky. You fly. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful butterfly. As you take yourself so ever lightly, you fly through the rising of the inner sun. Follow your heart, follow the light and fly. In my dreams, I fly. It's a dream, is this real? What I'm dreaming, of what a dream, of what I'm feeling. In my dreams, I can fly. I can So beautiful, so beautiful. You can in the gentleness and the sweetness of the star. You fly, fly. The sky is yours to be light, to be free. Just take yourself so beautiful, beautiful butterfly. Thank you.
Thank you, Fanny. Thank you. You transported us. Oh my goodness. That was extraordinary. Thank you so, so much. Woo, we're flying now. We are flying on those celestial sounds. Oh my goodness. Yes. As Jennifer says, how lucky are we? We are. It's not luck, though, I'll say. It is good fortune, yes, and we have done everything to bring ourselves here. We answered the call, and here we are, enjoying it together. Thank you, thank you. All right. Well, now it's time for our speaker, and that is our very own Rosalind Rourke. She's an integral part of the Power of Love ministry. We love her dearly here. She is an inspiration to everyone she comes in contact with. I'm sure that's true. Certainly, she's an inspiration to me. Rosalyn is a retired psychotherapist who has returned to work as a oneness coach, and we're very glad that she has. In 2018, after her daughter Melissa passed away unexpectedly, Rosalind learned that her destiny was to teach what Melissa has been teaching her. And so she also is an expert in the Enneagrams, and she is going to be offering an Enneagram class that I'm participating in starting on Thursday. And we're going to do a little Enneagram immersion later this week, and we'll tell you more about that later. Rosalind has been teaching in this ministry for several years now. She's an extremely active participant, as I've said, and we're grateful to have her back again this Sunday. And I can tell you, you will enjoy her talk very much, and you can go to our archive and find more of her inspiring talks. Thank you for joining us again, Rosalind, and forgive me, I'm going to let my dog in. I'll be right back.
Righty. Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here today. Thank you, Janelle, for blessing me and us today. And Fanny, that was so transporting. Yes, I too am flying. Jennifer took backstory to this talk today. And it feels very important to tell you about that. So Faith Rumor is a musical talent that is often here at the Power of Love ministry. And she collaborated with me in my last talk with the song Blackbird. And many of you had spoken to me after the talk and said, wow, Faith's singing was amazing. The two of you together and that message was unique and terrific. So on the very day the Power of Love asked me to speak on the 20th, Faith wrote to me and said, I would love to collaborate with you again. And I'm not a person who thinks in songs or song titles. And immediately what came to me was James Taylor's song, You've Got a Friend. I didn't even know what my talk was about, but it was very, very clear. And she said, oh, fantastic. I love that song. And I know it. I don't have to even learn it. So yay. And I told her what the message might be that went along with that song. And she said, I'm down with that. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear your talk. And just as part of the backstory, I talked to Jennifer for about 2 minutes on Friday. And I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm speaking about, but I will by Sunday. And that's a kind of trust. You could say faith, but it's a kind of trust that I live with now. And yesterday, I contacted Faith because I knew she hadn't been well. And she said, oh, yeah, I don't think I can sing or play because I'll probably cough. The important part is that not even a second fazed me. And I said, okay. And it really felt okay. And I was guided to look at the first lines of the song. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing is going right. That's all I need was the guidance from Spirit. Yes, it would be lovely to have her sing the whole song, but that is the message that will help me tell you a little more about the Enneagram, because I need to be able to tell you where I was to give you some idea of what the Enneagram did for me. But I would also like you to journey with me along this path. So just for a moment, when you hear those words, when you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing is going right, could you go back for a moment to age 25 when your personality was the most clear and it hadn't been mediated yet by your spiritual practices, by your life? And think for just a moment, what did you go to as your friend when you were down and out at age 25, when nothing was going your way? Might you have used self-medication? Might you have gotten into anger or self-judging? Was there a pattern? Would you have gone into depression if nothing had gone your way? Would you have gone into hiding or shopping or sex or any, you know the list. Did any feeling come to you yet? Or any pattern come to you? It doesn't have to be the most perfect pattern or an exact pattern, just anything, because we're going to use it later in the talk. So just put it aside for now. But you might wonder, why would I take a song that's calling on a friend to think of what icky thing did you used to do? What self-medication? For me, it was overeating and then body judgment and then unworthiness. What kind of friend is that? You have to wonder, right? But there is something to that friendship. There's constancy and connection. I could count on it every time. I got the same results every single time, and probably you did too. So when I'm thinking about the backstory, I want to tell you something that it's not a story I go to very often, but it's kind of important for you to know. And some of you have heard part of it, but you haven't heard all of it. And that is that when I was young, I started chubby, and then I got fatter. And by the time I was 12, I was about 112 pounds and getting fatter. But there's a history behind that. And that is that my mother, when she was a little girl, she was in Nazi Germany. And the Nazis were around. She had to quit school at the same age that I was getting fatter and fatter and fatter. She was about 13 when she could no longer go to school. But this business of mothers and daughters and overeating and fat kids and critical mothers, I hadn't mentioned that yet, but my mother was very, I could tell, scared, but also very judgmental about my weight, and it surely didn't help. But I did hear the story that when she was young, picture the Nazis are going on, she can't continue in school, and her mother is worried about her weight. She gets her up earlier than her sister in the morning. She had to quit school and go to work. And by the way, they put her to work in a candy factory, put a girl that they think is too fat, that they're getting up early in the morning to run and run and run and run around the streets. Now think about that, how terrified her mother must have been about the Nazis, about keeping her beloved daughter safe. And she's focused on her weight. So we can see really clearly from this story that other feelings, it wasn't about food. We already know that from our lived lives. But in this circumstance that I'm telling you, it even more wasn't about food and body size. But can you imagine how frightened her mother must have been to focus on the only thing she could control, or thought she could control, because actually she couldn't control my mother's weight. So that's an important piece of the backstory about weight. So when I was raised by my parents, they continued the Jewish religion. And I went to Hebrew school. I could read Hebrew. But when I was in my 40s and I was raising my children wanting to continue the Jewish traditions, I never knew a thing. I'd have to go to the books and say, what is Hanukkah besides getting presents? What does it mean? Every single holiday, I had to look it up. So I asked my mother, how come I don't know anything? I went to Hebrew school all those years. I participated. And she said, that's because I didn't believe. I went through all the motions of God and religion and Hebrew school and the holidays, but I didn't believe. So it didn't take for you. I did it for your father. So that gave me an idea, one idea for why I used to call it spiritually bankrupt. But actually it was more than that. It was worse than that, because bankruptcy sounds like you had some money and then you lost it. But I don't think I ever had it. I believed in thinness, which I didn't have. I believed in jealousy. Somehow there was an idea that if I were jealous of the people who had typical sizes, that I too could become slender. So you can see my trust and faith was slim to nothing at that point. And so fast forward to 1985. I was pretty early on introduced to A Course in Miracles. That was a pretty early date. And what did I do with it? Well, I read it in the morning, and it was a kind of salve to my feelings of unworthiness. But I didn't do anything with it during the day, except if it said, remember the lessons. I did listen to Marianne Williamson. Those of you who also listened to her in those days know she was very entertaining, and she talked about her boyfriends and why she forgot to say they shouldn't be a drug addict. So that's why the last boyfriend had everything on her list except for he was a drug addict. It was very entertaining. She was delightful. I was hearing about God, but I wasn't applying any spirituality. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't the group's faults that where I went. They were reading and studying, but in those days, there were no Jennifer Hadleys around. There were no Lisa Natolis. There were no Dove Fishmans. Nobody was applying the course that I knew. So that's what I was doing with A Course in Miracles. But I did hear there is only one problem in the course. The course says you have only one problem, and that's a belief in separation. And now I'm going to switch over to 1995, fast forward. And at that time, I had three things come into my life. And one of them was the Enneagram. And my dear friend Katie invited me to go with her. I was not seeking anything else. I didn't know there was anything else. Oh, and by the way, at that time, I was slim, but I was slim in a very rigid way. I didn't think it got any better than being slim. I didn't know that you could be relaxed, that food didn't have to be good food and bad food, and you didn't have to be on something or counting something. And I thought, this is as good as it gets. So, but it's not really that good. So somehow, here I am, a psychotherapist. I was able to do really good work in the treatment sessions. But in my own personal life, I had kind of two lives going on. I thought it was the outer life and the inner life. Turns out I was actually broadcasting more of my inner life than I knew. And when I found the Enneagram, I found out that other people were seeing what I was hiding. And I'm going to screen share what I learned about the Enneagram, about my type, just so we can be a little bit specific rather than it's your personality and you're not your personality, just so you can see that this is very specific. Anticipates rejection. Yep, that was me. Concerned about image. Yep, that was me. Inflated versus self-critical. That was me. I went from not good enough to being better than. Attracted to beautiful things. Appears remote, but interested in connection. This one was a little surprising because I didn't know I appeared remote. I did know I withdrew. I did know I wished connection. I thought I was really good at connecting, but that apparently was only when I wanted to connect. Mercurial and sensitive, and you could really say overly sensitive. Attracted to melancholy. Now, some of these other attributes could be said of anyone, but not everybody could say they were attracted to melancholy. I was addicted to soap operas. intuitive and idealistic, creative and intense. And I think that gives you enough of an idea here. So I'm going to stop screen sharing right here. So when I found these descriptions, what did it do for me? I knew most of those things. What it did was teach me, show me with friendly faces, and that's an important part of it, that you discover your Enneagram with supportive people. You don't ever really want to tell somebody what their Enneagram is and what their attributes are, because that's it's very undressing. You can imagine if you didn't choose to have all of that seen, that would be a little bit perhaps shaming, just probably not the best idea. But what that did for me was show me that it was a strategy to find more love. Yes, it wasn't working, and it may not be very logical, but I was looking to be accepted while I was protecting myself, anticipating rejection. So, the small mind is not very logical. And so we don't have to expect logic. What that did was, when I saw it was a strategy to be loved, and it was a strategy, not who I am. Let me say that again. My personality, your personality, is not who you are, who I am. That was such a relief. I really thought, because this were the only repetitive behaviors I knew, in large part, obviously there are exceptions. I would act a different way sometimes. It left me feeling pretty burdened and ashamed of who I thought I was. But now I'm hearing it's not who I am. And as I watched and learned the other Enneagrams and saw the great benefits in how to talk to other people to help them find what their strategy was looking for, and they would do the same for me. And I was on a journey with my good friend Katie, who we learned with, and we bought time with teachers who were very compassionate, showing us that it's just a strategy. It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. And the Enneagram, except to know that it was ours, it was our behavior, it was the best we could do. But within the Enneagram, I won't give you all the details, but there are openings and portals to movement. One thing I want to say, it's really an important element of the Enneagram, is it's not a doing. This is not another fix-it program. I couldn't have stood that. I was up to my ears in fix-it between psychotherapy and A Course in Miracles lessons, and knowing that I wasn't doing well enough because I had no spiritual connection. And by the way, this rugged honesty, looking at what I was doing, allowed other things to happen that year. So I mentioned that in 1995, two other things occurred, because I was looking at myself without blame and shame at behaviors. So when I would anticipate rejection, I would say to myself, that's just your Enneagram speaking. it's probably not true. Now I can know it's almost definitely not true. I had to start out with, it's probably not true. But just that little bit of space in there with that rugged honesty and compassion for myself, and the beauty in seeing that everybody has one. There are no good ones and there are no bad ones. You can be healthy or unhealthy in your type, and your type blends with something that I'm not going to describe, but I'm going to mention, your instincts, only because the instinct you use the least is the most helpful. And for me, that was participating in an open-hearted way in groups. Because groups, if I couldn't trust a person, and you could see why from being my parents' daughter from the Nazis, is totally understandable why they didn't trust anyone. You couldn't trust it. People, be that your neighbor would turn you in, your friend might turn you in, your relative might turn you in. And my father was in a Nazi camp and other inmates turned you in. So I came by it honestly, not to trust anyone or anything, but somehow the Enneagram opened me up to groups, and more trust happened as a result of giving people an opportunity to show me they were trustworthy, and by God, they were. And somehow I had to trust people before I could find spirit. It's just the way it went for me. So because of that rugged honesty, the rigorous honesty, I was willing to accept a flyer that came to my house that was for psychotherapists. And it was a training on eating disorders, but it said you could bring your eating disorder. And I went to that and I got the help that I needed, that I would have been really hard for me to get treatment for. But after the Enneagram, I was able to see a new way to live with food. And so that made a difference. And then with my friend Katie and my good friend Anne, we joined a group of people going to India to learn non-duality. So that was 1995. And I will fast forward because of time and say that I did not really understand non-duality or A Course in Miracles the most fully until Melissa passed in 1918. Very few of us understand what it means that you were never born and you'll never die and you're not a body. We do our best and we get further and further. And some people were way ahead in that understanding, but we only have our own trajectory, and I only knew mine. But after 1918, I began to know some more things. And so if you would bring back your friend, we're going to do a short meditation, and then Jennifer's going to pick up the meditation from her point of viewing. But this meditation, I'm going to ask you to pick up your friend that you found in the beginning when you were down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing was going right. What emotion did you pick, or what behavior did you pick? If you didn't pick one, it's okay too. Just pick something that bothered you today. I'm sure you can think of something. And just put it inside your body, someplace that's meaningful to you. If you'd like to put it in your mind, if you think of yourself as a thinker, if you think of yourself as a feeler, or today it hurts, put it near your heart, put it inside your body. and place it there. Just park it there for a few minutes. And now let's bring your local awareness, awareness with a small a, to your systems that work without your control. Your blood, your heart, your breathing, your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, your water that flows through you, all without your help. And now, just for expedience sake, let's push on out into the room and notice the space in the room where often you notice the objects in the room. And you might think of this room as having space separate from the great outdoors or the sky or the moon. But those are artificial boundaries to that room, to that space, to that air. It's really one space, one air. If we were to knock down the walls, you would know and you would remember that it's one space. And that's a metaphor for the edges of your body. You might think the skin and bone are where you end. But what if you can't find the edges? Go back now from the space in your room to the bones, to the parked place. Can you actually find the edges where one thing stops and another begins? And now let's go to the next lines of the song from James Taylor. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest nights. Just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again because I never left. And infinite intelligence, whatever that space is called, the I of that song, I'll come back to you, presence, consciousness, awareness, I am, or God in non-duality, those are all the same name. So Jennifer, if you would pick up there, thank you.
Rosalind has created this beautiful space for us to recognize our unity with each other, with all life, that we are not our personality, we are not the patterns of the mind, that we are the infinite, we are everything. So grateful to recognize that this is true for us, that the strategies of the personality are like clothing that we wear. We can put them on and we can take them off. And when we put them on, our essence is exactly the same as when we take them off. We are unchanged. So we're coming together this Sunday to liberate ourselves from seeing ourselves as a personality. We are grateful to let that perception dissolve and resolve permanently back to the root cause. We're setting ourselves free and recognizing that we are pure awareness. We're already liberated. So grateful to know this for ourselves and for everyone else. We are setting all of our brothers and sisters free by joining together in this way, right here, right now. All discord arises from the belief that we're separate from each other. In this moment now, we're basking in the unity, in the oneness. And I invite Fanny to give us another song.
Well, I have a surprise for you all. My sweet darling decided to come and play this song with me called Mystical Dance. This is Vigari Sandar, my sweet husband and partner for 25 years. And he's been also studying Course in Miracle very heartedly and so beautiful. Thank you so much for playing with me today, and thank you for you being. And this song is about the energy, the feminine energy that we are here to dance life away. And as we dance, we are pure light, pure spirit. So today, remember that you can take a little one's hand and dance like no one is watching, and you will see it'll uplift you. Dance with the elder and love like you've never been broken before. So dance like no one is watching. This one is for the sisters that play and dance for me while I play, and it's just so divine when someone dances and you feel this divinity. So here it comes. It comes into you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful Miraya. Oh Jaja, my love, when you dance. Ramona, Lalita, all beautiful, beautiful. When she dances, the space is filled with golden light, like the sweet caress of the sunrise. As her body moves, as her body grooves, when she dances, it's the dance of love. A pure flow takes my breath away as she brings me to another space, far away, far away. This fire burning in me, longing to share this love so free, longing to play this song for you, my love, oh my love. I feel the sky, I feel the earth beneath me. When you dance, feel the stars inside of me. I'm longing to sing my song for you, oh my love, oh. in the sweetness of your dance. All I can do is play my song for you, oh my love, oh my love. For the sweetness of your heart brings me a higher love, brings me a higher love, brings me a higher love. Ayalele kumayale, ayale mama yere. So dance a little, dance like no one is watching. Dance a little, be the light upon the light into yourself. When she does, the space is filled with golden light, like the sweet caress of the sunlight. Thank you.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you so much. Whew. We are riding on a cloud here today. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Well, now we are going to move into that part of this service that is, I think, a little bit unique here. And what we do every week is we go into a breakout into our small groups so that everybody gets a chance to share if they'd like to. And these breakouts are meant to be a time of healing and transformation. And so my invitation to you, or I could say Rosalind's invitation to you, my invitation to you is to discuss in your small group what part of your personality or what aspect, what pattern of your personality are you still thinking is the real you, and that it's somehow actually part of you versus a pattern. And if you brought love to that strategy, that pattern, would you then dissolve any sense of separation and feel connected to the unity of all life, the oneness of all life? So, once again, and you'll see it in the transcript as well, if you have the visual there, the live transcript. The what part of your personality or what pattern in your personality, what is it that they call it a racket? What aspect of your personality, what game, what scheme in your personality do you run that you feel is actually part of you? It's an aspect of you when it's not. It's just a strategy. What is that? And if you applied love to it, can you feel or sense or see that you would feel less sense of separation, more sense of connection to the oneness of all life? And then, are you willing? Are you willing to let that strategy go? Fortunately, not one of us have to figure out how to let the behavior go. We just have to invoke the Holy Spirit and be willing. That's it. So this is a time of healing. Yes, it's a time of tremendous healing. We can be willing to lay it on the altar. So how about your willingness to let that strategy go? In our small groups, you don't have to share it. It's not mandatory. You can absolutely just listen, be a healing presence. And in the small groups, if you can just make sure that everybody who would like to share gets an opportunity to share. All right, so we're going to jump into these breakouts. They're not that long, and then we'll come back for more music, and we'll see you then.
Mhm.
Lana's our pilot. She's opening the rooms right now.
Okay, turned off the sound.
So there they go.
Be with her now. She's gonna come here. So more music. She didn't tell me.
Put Fanny on mute there for a moment. All right, Rosalind, you usually start us off, but I'm going to ask Araba to start us off. So here we go. We're on the Facebook Live portion right now.
Welcome and thank you so much. Oh, what a lovely service. First with Janelle, and then with Rosalind, of course, who is an amazing teacher. And Fanny, your music has just been delightful to see and to hear and to experience. So thank you. I want to say to Rosalind, what today brought to me was really this sense of having a journey. You took us on a journey from a song to Nazi Germany, to your youth, to your children, to India. And I just felt the depth of your seeking, searching, and your connection. We really felt the sense of where you came from, which is what you described. You were helping to teach us to where you are. And what I know about you and your teaching of the Enneagram is this, and I know this very personally, as I was struggling with knowing and understanding my own type with the Enneagram, is that as a tool for discovery, self-discovery, and that as a way of having self-compassion, and this idea of teasing out who you think you are and leaving those strategies, that personality skin, as Jennifer described, to then allowing and exploring the essence of yourself. And it also just reminded me in my own life that as I learned about the Enneagram, that teasing of personality also really helped not take other things personally, not only what I was doing for myself, but my family members in particular, those relationships. And it just reminded me that we have these ideas of who we are, and that we have these tools with directions and guidance that can help us begin to shed some of those ideas of who we are into the discovery mode of our essence. So I am so grateful for your teaching, your wisdom, and your sharing. Thank you.
It takes one to know one, Arba.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thank you. Janelle, would you like to share something?
Sure. Yeah, I would just say that it was such a pleasure to listen to you today, Rosalind. I'm getting to hear more and more of what you'd like to say. And it feels like an honor to get to know you better and to get to know your story and see the ripples thereof. One thing you did say, and please clarify it for me, something along the lines of the Enneagram is to see it's a strategy for finding love or something along those lines. And I never had really seen like the personality or these habits or patterns as a strategy to find love. But I can really, when you said it or however you said it, it was really clear to me and I could see it. So that was really great.
Yeah. Thank you, Janelle. I'm not sure if Fanny is there or not because I don't see her. Rosalind, would you like to share some more?
Well, I'm muted. I'm unmuted. Good. Yes, there was, of course, so much more that I would have liked to say. There's something about constancy and connection that when we have a personality, it gives us that. When it's distorted, it's blocked love, it's all quirky and illogical, but you can always count on it. And when we're in separation, which is everybody's issue until it isn't, you can see why it gets so repetitive. You can always count on, feeling miserable just that same way, or just people not liking something. So that is something I would have amplified if I had more time. And in a way, it shows, like Janelle was saying, it's an aspect of love that we are looking for. That's something we're seeking, constancy and connection. It's the opposite of separation. And so you can see why it fits the bill, even though it's kind of weird. And I would also love to have said more about family relations and how exponentially they broke open. I mean, it was night and day for Melissa when she understood the Enneagram and she could say to us, when you talk to us like New Yorkers, like you should do this and you should do that, that doesn't work for me, because that as a 9 is overwhelming and I can't speak up for what I would like to do. And of course, it's not a good idea to say that to anyone, but when you understand the dynamics, it's easier to pull back, because then we could say to her, we're sorry. We never should have spoken to you that way. And what we always meant is, if you wanted to, you could do this. We never meant that it was just a way of talking. And so there were so many breakthroughs. And my relationship with my husband, I'm quite certain that I would have been divorced because I was pretty crazy and I was pretty mercurial and emotional. And on one of those bad days, I probably would have found somebody else. Or I would have driven him crazy, because the Enneagram stabilized me. When I found out that I wasn't those things, it was like new air. It was like new mechanism for breathing. I was able to, I almost want to cry. I almost received what I was looking for from those people with their typical slim bodies. That whatever comfort I thought they had, I got it by letting that strategy go, that crazy individualistic, special. Ugh. Anyway, it opened me to everything else that's good in my life. So yeah, those are some other things I would say. And thank you to everybody for your sweet comments. And oh, Fanny, your music, I don't even have the words. It's worldly. It's amazing. I have my friend Katie was here, and I chatted with her, and I said, "Isn't this amazing music?" And she said, "Fantastic." And she's not big. She doesn't usually use those kind of big words. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Rosalind. And yes, the music just totally transported us. Fanny, would you like to share anything? Not sure if that's a yes or a no. All right. Okay, I guess she can't hear us.
Well, Jennifer, don't you think that our relationship is really amazing in that we can see each other's enneagrams and go beyond it? Where there was a moment on Friday that I could have still felt hurt that I didn't get the decision I wanted, and I said, no, I'm not going to go for hurt, rejected. I'm going to give Jennifer one more chance, and in giving her the chance to give me what I was requesting, and also revealing that I would like to have something from her, I got to see her point of view, which wasn't the point of view that I had assumed. So we just went that extra step. And I think that's why we don't have misunderstandings anymore. We just keep, just clarifying and giving each other another chance to understand.
We're using our words.
Yeah. I think that's what everybody, not everybody, but it's a useful tool, because we tend to misunderstand.
Yeah, so much of it is just not taking things personally and realizing that it's not personal. It is not personal. It's
And
never
giving the other person another chance, like instead of, making a judgment or, making your one's typical reaction. No, one more chance. I feel very given to by you. Thank you.
Yeah. And, it's for me, it is that thing of when you don't take things personally, don't make meaning of it, don't interpret
Yes.
it.
The meaning, yes.
Yeah, exactly. To me, you began the talk, having us transport ourselves back to around the time of 25 years old. And for me, when I was 25 years old, I was so black and white. You know, I really was in that place of things are for me or they are against me, and there's no gray area. And so for me, my personality was to decide in a nanosecond, are you for me or are you against me? If you are against me, I am getting out the blowtorch and I am going to just blow you away. Get out of my space, because I would be so threatened that I just couldn't handle it. So I would just immediately scorch you, and then that would just let you know with all your singed skin and hair and clothing that, like, get the hell out of here. This is not a safe space. This woman will take you down, you know, for sure, for sure, for sure. And I'll tell you a little funny story about my personality. When I was in college, um, my very best friend started dating an old friend of mine. Old friend, you know, we were 19, 20 years old. But this was a guy that I had known since I was maybe 14, 13 or 14. His best friend and I dated for a while. You know, it was like that. When we were 14, you know, we dated. So now it's like 5, 6 years later. We're all in college, and so my best friend starts to date my other friend, and this guy was, I don't know, 6'3". I'm 5'3". And I remember when they started dating, we were having a party. We had a party like every weekend. And so he was standing in, and my best friend and I, we had our own apartment in Boston. And so he was standing in the kitchen, you know, with like a cup of beer. And I was standing there, and I said, I just want to talk to you for a minute. So I pulled him aside, and I said to him, totally looking up at him because he's a foot taller than me. And I said, I just want you to know that if you hurt her in any way, shape, or form, you will live to regret it every day of the rest of your life. I will, whatever it takes, I will make you suffer and pay for every day of the rest of your life if you hurt her. So I wish you well. Have a great relationship. Enjoy each other to the maximum. But just remember, if you hurt her, I will come for you. And he was my friend before she was my friend. And he was just like, okay, message received. I said, great, that's all. I just want you to know that there's a cost here if you hurt her. I will not stand for it. I mean, that was my personality for sure. And I meant it. I meant it. I would have made it my business back then.
But
Because go
go ahead.
ahead.
It's a great characteristic, though, even though you were extreme, because you were extreme, but a great characteristic of an 8 when you're under the umbrella of an 8's care. It is magnificent, and they will, it isn't all underdogs or all people, it's the people they pick out that are under their umbrella. And it's an experience not to be believed. You are cared for and looked after, and even by healthier 8s. It's just a quality of 8ness to in a big way go to and care for certain people. It's just very a beautiful and interesting characteristic. So I saw it in big guns with you.
I remember when I first became friends with David Hoffmeister, and I was talking with him about some of the other Course in Miracles teachers that he knew that I didn't know. And I had been friends with Gary Renard for maybe 5 years at that point, 5 or 6 years. And I said to David, I said, you know, some of these other Course in Miracles teachers have really attacked Gary in very cruel and mean, vicious ways, totally uncalled for and shocking. And I said, I don't know that I want to have anything to do with them, because it just seems so A Course in Miracles to attack another person and to do it publicly to another Course in Miracles teacher. What the heck is going on? And I said to him, David, I got to tell you, my personality is that you could say whatever you want about me. You know, you could take out a billboard on Sunset Boulevard, whatever you want to say, have at it. But if you start trashing my friends, get out of the way. That's where I become a grudge holder. Like, I can totally forgive you saying something horrible and cruel and making up stories about me. But if you do that to a friend of mine, I will never forget it. And I'd like to forget it, but I don't know how. That's what I kind of said to him at that time. And it was helpful. He helped me. He filled in some information that I didn't have about certain things. But yeah, boy, it is so strong in my personality to care for the people around me and to look out for them. Yeah. Protective aspect.
Mhm.
Yeah, but now I can take a step back from all that, and I don't have to do that anymore. Fortunately, I've spiritually matured, and we've got our breakouts are ending, so everybody will be back here in just a quick 30 seconds or so. What a wonderful way to begin the next season. I'm very conscious of how many friends I have in Australia now. So while we're starting spring here in the northern hemisphere, they're starting their fall, and they're coming out of their summer, going into their fall season. So we're just on the day of the vernal equinox here on my time zone, and it's wonderful. Though I have to say I love winter, and it is a wonderful time to go within. All right, we've got everybody back here, I think, from the breakouts. Welcome back. How were the breakouts? Were they good? All right,
Good.
thank you so much. And I am inviting you, this is part of the healing, if you like, place into the chat any declarations that you'd like to make about the strategies you're letting go of, that you're applying love to, that you can see now that it's showing up as an aspect of your personality. The personality is not who you are, and aren't we grateful that we are not our personalities? We are not our bodies. We are so much more. We're everything. We're everything. Everything good, everything holy, everything magnificent. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for your shares in the chat. All right. So what we're going to do now is to make some announcements, and then we are going to step into another song from Fanny, and then we're going to have another prayer from Janelle, and then we'll be done for today. So I'm going to start off with a couple of announcements. First of all, we have Rosalind's class. I'll be joining her for all the classes on the hidden strategies, the Enneagram class that starts on Thursday. So we're putting the link in the chat if you'd like to join that. If you're listening on Facebook Live, you can go to jenniferhadley.com, go to the events page, and you'll see the hidden strategies class there. And I'm telling you, working with the Enneagrams as a spiritual student, as a Course in Miracles student, not to be missed. It's a powerful opportunity for us to get some distance from the personality and really see our true identity as perfect, whole, complete, magnificent. And we are not a body, we are not our personality. So I invite you to check that out. Also, Rosalind, are you doing, you're a oneness coach, are you taking on clients right now?
I'm not really, unless people are in my classes. And I do give a discount to Power of Love people, but I'm not looking for more clients because I'm writing a book.
Okay, there you go. And another class that is starting this week is my End My Self Sabotage Challenge. It's a 6-week program. So if you see that you sabotage yourself with any number of things, it could be self medication like food, alcohol, drugs, sex, working too much, exercising too much, cleaning too much, anything that you're doing that you can see you're sabotaging yourself with. Maybe you're sabotaging yourself by limiting what's possible for you. There's so many ways we can sabotage ourselves. And if you feel that's you and you'd like to bring on a breakthrough, break that pattern, and have some fun doing it with some wonderful folks, check out my End My Self Sabotage Challenge. It contains so much. You get weekly with me, can ask me any question you like. You get one-on-one counseling with one of our spiritual counselors. You get the group coaching. There's just so many aspects to this program, and it's only $127. It's one of the best deals ever that we offer. So check that out. And then if you'd like to contribute to the ministry and make a tithe, we tithe to our musicians and our speakers. If you would like to support that and support the other programs and all the different free things, by the way, the challenge, the self-sabotage challenge first week is free. And people love that first week. So just do that if money is an issue. If you would like to contribute and support this ministry, you can easily do that by going to the donations page at jenniferhadley.com. And you can also sign up for the inspirational text messages, and you can sign up to have a monthly contribution, a recurring contribution. That's a wonderful way to do that. Rosalind, do you have any other announcements that you'd like to make?
No, just I would like to add that the Enneagram classes, if you're having any kinds of struggle with other people, I would highly recommend taking that class, because finding out what other people's Enneagrams are can be life-changing. I am sure I would not be married to my husband if I did not know how to speak to him with his Enneagram, because it's not how I would ordinarily speak. And it works because he feels understood and I'm understood. So most struggles can be understood enneagrammically. And so it's a great boon to if you could join us. Yeah.
So true, so true. Knowing folks' Enneagrams has helped me so much. Thank you for reminding us of that, Rosalyn. All right. So Fanny, I know you put wonderful details in the chat of how to get your music and how to connect with you, and that you're on YouTube and other options. Is there anything else you'd like to announce before you play your next song?
Yes, thank you so much to be alive on this time on this earth. It's a beautiful time for us to be awakening and help others awaken with our joy and our light. It's our path. It's what we are here for. And so here I am to share this beautiful music that we've done all our lives here together. And I've just signed into a new platform called Bandcamp, and they're very generous with their artists. So we have our World Beat CD on there if you want to go buy it. It's $11.11. But it's the World Beat album. We did our first baby together. And then our second album called Awaken is in the process of it. So we have the Butterfly song is available, and also a few other songs we're putting slowly, because as this challenging world and times I had time to transform and become more mystical and change from a children's entertainer to more of a harpist musician. So now this music is available on Bandcamp, and also my website. You can see all the children's entertainment we've done. And also, if you sign with my YouTube channel, then that would be so fun that you become our friends, and then you know where we are at, and sharing our love and our light.
Beautiful. Thank you, Fanny. And thank you for giving us another song.
Thank you. This one is called For Springtime, Mama Gaia. Sweet Mama Gaia, Mother Earth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mama yere rose. Mama yere rose. Okay, let's start that again. Sorry about that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I say, sing a song of love, a song of light, a song of love, a song for the earth. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Chante une chanson, chante une chanson, chante une chanson d'amour. Chante une chanson, chante une chanson, chante une chanson de lumière. Chante une chanson, chante une chanson, chante une chanson d'amour. Chante une chanson. Chante une chanson pour la terre. We're singing a song for the earth. For the mountains and the rivers, for the gardens of flowers, for all the feelings of wonders that nature gives and whispers. We're all a part of you, Mama Gaia. We're all a part of you. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. For the sweet sounds of the earth and the secret she has to share as we walk gently together in our dreams and hopes we treasure. We're all a part of you, Mama Gaia. We're all a part of you. Song for the earth.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you've been rocking me like a little baby. I feel renewed. Thank you so much, Fanny. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes. Thank you both. So beautiful. We are blessed today. We are blessed today. What does that say, Lisa? Lovely service, Rosalind, Fanny, and Jennifer. Yes. Thank you, Lisa. We're grateful. Yes, we're grateful to start off this new season together, basking in the love of God. Well, we are ready to go home here and finish it off. Janelle's going to give us a prayer.
Yes, so grateful and so thankful for this liftoff. Grateful and thankful for this time together, and to know that this song, the one mind, the one heart that we are anchored in. So grateful and so thankful to take this service, this healing, and this message that we've received today into the rest of our day, into the rest of our year, knowing that the ripples are happening and that we are all rising up together. We are grateful and thankful. We share the benefits of this healing with everyone because we are one. Letting it be in the grace of God, and so it is. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you so much, Janelle. Thank you, Lana, for being our host. Thank you, GJ, for all that you do behind the scenes. GJ's a member of our staff. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, Fanny, and your husband. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. What a blessing you are. Mwah. God bless.